Well, here I am at Dreaming Inside Studio 5. This place is really amazing, a true healing place. Brothers to the right of me, singing me back home, and the rest of us, heads down, putting our thoughts down on paper. Some telling stories about the dream time, others about life today. Although we all come from the same place, we all have different stories to share with a different outlook on life and the way it used to be. I tell you that these stories in this book is really going to touch the heart of many. So come on a journey with me as you read the stories of the people of this land. Hello, I'm Auntie Barbara Nicholson. I'm a Wallaby woman, and the Wallaby people are the traditional custodians of the whole Illawarra area where we live and in which Wollongong and suburbs are located. The term Auntie is an honorific term given to all senior members of Aboriginal communities everywhere in Australia. So if you've got your grey hair, you're going to be called Auntie or Uncle. Aunt is a wallaby, a black wallaby, solitary, alert, a steady gaze intent above the grass, watchful but easily alarmed. Black wallabies stay alive by their intelligent vigilance. Aunt is alive. But I see pain flay her face with each blast of the vicious door. It tells her something she knows and which causes her to flinch. Bruce's idea of me being like a black wallaby is the inspiration for the title of the Aboriginal Writers group in the South Coast Writers Centre. So with his permission, I subsequently named our writers group the Black Wallaby Writers. We'd had some funding to go to Junee Jail to get do some poetry writing workshops with Aboriginal inmates in Junee Jail. I rallied some other troops and we managed to fulfil that obligation and got some writing done there. We didn't have too many inmate participants on that time, only about 8 or 9. So I thought, maybe we can get a little desktop publication out, because that would be really good, because it would give the inmates something back, and give them a reason for being there, and maybe if they could see their name in print, it'd be really good for them. They might get a thrill out of that. I think it provides them with a skill or the knowledge that they are worthwhile, and the skill and the tools to use in a positive way throughout their life. And hopefully it might help them upon release to pursue a life without crime. So they suggested the title, and we ran it very democratically. We asked them all if they'd like to think about what title we could call the book, and there were 3 titles, and then Ricky and I adjudicated on that, and we chose Dreaming Inside, but so did the boys. That was one of the things. So it went to a vote and they chose it. And so we maintain that. The artwork, the cover artwork and the internal artwork is all inmate artwork. I write here, in the first 4 volumes of the Dreaming Inside series, the reader can witness the growth and development of the project overall. What began with volume 1 as a kind of litmus test for the viability of a continuing project, a tentative reach into an unknown future, has developed to become a solid contribution to the canon of Aboriginal writing. With each successive volume, the inmate writers have demonstrated a robust interest in the project, even assuming ownership of it. It is their work, their book, and they are rightly very proud to have contributed to its longevity. Now here we are with Volume 5, an anniversary edition that celebrates the birth and growth of Dreaming Inside. This one is from Sam, and he called it My Son's Cry. The first time I heard your cry, I said, "Dad's coming, don't cry." The second time I heard your cry, I wiped your tears and sang you a lullaby. The third time I heard your cry, I made you a bottle. You slept all night. The fourth time I heard you cry, we went to the park and stayed there until dark. The fifth time I heard your cry, your first word was Dad, which made me cry. The sixth time I heard your cry, I took you to school for your first time. The seventh time I heard your cry, Dad had to steal money for us to get by on. The last time I heard your cry, police came and got Dad, and you asked me why.
Dreaming Inside, Volume 5, is just another incredible piece of artwork which entails stories from individuals from Junee prison, and I think that is so important. Honestly, I believe that Aboriginal people should be the people who make the judgments, not white fellas, I can tell you that now. And when you take into consideration what Barbara and Mook, Rick and others do, to let these young and not so young people an opportunity, or give them an opportunity to be able to tell their stories, I think it's absolutely incredible, and I reckon they're doing more than any Royal Commission which has ever been held into the most studied group of people on earth ever came up with. And I believe what the Black Wallaby Writers are doing by giving these people in Junee Correctional Centre a chance to tell their stories is giving the broader community a chance to learn the two histories of this country. So let me congratulate you all on the work that you do, and I think your work is more important than anything that happens in Canberra, I can tell you.
It's so vital that we hear the voices of men and women who are facing these circumstances and are incarcerated, because their voices should be able to carry on. They should be able to reach out outside the system to us, and we should be able to engage with them. There is nothing worse than being in a situation where your voice and your right to creativity will be taken from you. So I'm sure that the writers of these works will be gratified to reach out to us and share their work. The greatest sin we have ever committed was to give these people the power of writing, because they have turned the written word against us. And what that shows is the incredible tenacity of Aboriginal people to take in new technology, the written word in English, and use it for the means of our community. And those young children began a tradition which has carried on to this day of Aboriginal people using writing in creative political ways and making demands for self-determination. And this is a wonderful short piece by Jack Croucher entitled Real Talk. When I was a young fella, I used to be a troublemaker, hanging with the older brothers doing crime and smashing others. Now I'm in here doing 6, thinking about better things. Can't wait to do right, get out and start a life.
The work is often poetic, poignant and powerful, as well as uncompromisingly honest and raw. That's all fairly negative, but they're the comments from people like the mentors and the people who are very closely connected with this whole project. but I don't want to leave the impression that everything in this book is negative. Absolutely not. There's a lot of humour. I'm going to read one of my own because ever since we've done this for 5 years, we've always put in something from the tutors, which I'm very happy to have been since this program started. I sort of panicked and I didn't know what to write. So I thought, well, that's what I'll write about. I'll write about writer's block. And I'm talking to the inmates. Like you, I'm stuck, but not in JCC with all that razor wire walls and other barriers. What you talk with others when you walk free, have you thought of it? Or like me, leave it till it's here. It's Friday the 13th, deadline for the tutors bit. I think, what to say? What can I, on this deadline day, or any other day? So I'll tell you something personal. My granddaughter, 6, parents split last year. As her Poppy, for her, I'm somewhat like the sun. There, reliable, always, ever, forever, never to fade. But then she's young, only yet in the 2nd grade. So I write her little letters saying, it's okay to cry, it's okay to be angry, it's okay, feel sad. And I talk about the river, that's always there, and my cat, who's lived twice as long as she so far. And like the sun, will be here for what might seem forever. And how we had a flood, and I bring sparkles for New Year's Eve. Psychologists warn that kids can blame themselves when things seem to fall apart, even if they never say it loud. And there's a lot can break my heart, especially if I blame myself for my son's present incapacity to sustain a mature and lasting relationship, as some clever might put it, and some self-important critic might say something similar of his wife. Why did I spend so much time unable to forgive myself and others for my present incapacity to sustain a mature and lasting imperfection? Thank you very much.
I mean, for me as a writer from Melbourne, I think one of the things that's remarkable about the program is that the Black Wallaby program, the anthology, is a way of giving access and publication to Aboriginal writers. It's clearly linked to programs that go on in the prison system or the system of incarceration. So it gives Aboriginal people in local community, Aboriginal people sometimes in very difficult circumstances, the ability to articulate their ideas through creative work. And I'm sure for many of those writers, some appearing for the first time in print, it's giving them the opportunity to work more as writers and certainly to be published more. And for readership, I think it's really important to give both Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal people an insight into the sorts of issues that are being written about and the sorts of issues that we want to deal with creatively and politically, of course. That is to get the publishing industry to be more supportive of Aboriginal writers. So often, these publications like Black Wallaby, they're fantastic, but they're done on a shoestring. They need more support. They need more financial and institutional support. And I think bigger publishers and even small press, they need to understand that there's a wonderful group of people out there who have something important to say about this country, have something really important to say about Aboriginal experience. And I think publishers should be much more supportive of Aboriginal writers.
I mean, it's interesting that often non-Aboriginal writers, talk about whether they should write Aboriginal characters or Aboriginal stories or not. I think there's a more important question, that is, how do we make sure that Aboriginal people are writing Aboriginal stories and those stories are being shared? And if we don't get access to the publication opportunities, well, that's not going to happen. So it's very important that we do that, because then younger people coming through, younger Aboriginal people coming through, will just have many more role models, many more voices that they're able to read, and that has a knock-on effect as well. So therefore both the readership and the writing community will grow. But it can't happen without support, and that support has to be institutional and it has to be financial. I think there are people in the publishing industry who could put their money where their mouth is and be much more supportive of getting people published than happens at present. I just think that it's essential for Aboriginal people to share our experiences with people from other states, other parts of the country, and take that experience home, so that when I go back to Melbourne, there's a lot that I've learned here just by being around people. So when you're the writer in residence, there may be a sense that it's about you giving to people, but you don't just do that. You actually learn from the people you're speaking to. You learn from the students you are teaching. So that for me, it's been a wonderful week of gaining knowledge. And when I go back to Melbourne, whether it be who I'm talking to, or if I reflect on this trip in my writing or just thinking about it, for me it's been a really great cultural experience. So it's invaluable in that sense.
I only ever wanted to be safe. I used to worry when the streetlight came on, as I never wanted to be late. I only wanted to be safe from harm. I'd run when I seen a tall man's arm. I only wanted to be safe from the drugs and the crime and always doing time. I only wanted to be safe from the system and the land of smoke and mirrors. Lies and betrayal, they tried their hardest to make me fail. A softer man would have, could have. But at least I know I've tried and survived. They did their worst and I broke their curse. I really wanted to be safe. There's one here from Ngunnawal Marara, and he called this sovereignty. I find the British Commonwealth and Australia's federal government guilty of cultural genocide and treason on the First Peoples. Under the First Peoples Delegates Declaration, your crown title is removed and further no more. I award with deep honour the First Peoples sovereignty. You are now a free and independent nation of the First People. Your blackness back at you, Ngunnawal Marara. You gotta love it.